What's going on, everyone? I'm heading home here from the clinic. I wanted to share what we just went through it now with a meeting. Just met with an attorney, and it was a great meeting, great conversation. And I want to share with you the process if you're looking to increase your personal injury percentage in your practice as we are. That's something that we set out to do this past December. I decided we have the best clinical process ever. We get fantastic results. We already document stellar, and why not capture more personal injury cases instead of letting them do care that's probably not as robust and results-based as what we do. So let me just tell you real quick. I just had lunch with an attorney, and we sat down. We took him through a tour of the clinic. We showed him all the highlights of what we do. Typically unsolicited. By the end of that, they say, I've seen a lot of chiropractic offices. I've never seen anything like this. He said that. We didn't have to ask him the question. He said that. He's been practicing for 20 plus years doing personal injury work. He said this is the most dialed in clinic he's ever seen. Pretty cool, right? Now, we showed him what we do from a technique standpoint, from a documentation standpoint, the patient process. We explain that. We explain the 12-week transformation as far as how our patient gets access to an online membership site so they can go through an exercise library. We showed him how we document things in our exercise department on our travel card and on our exercise card, and how we have a whole separate note macro that we use inside of ChiroTouch for the exercise department on top of what we do on the ChiroLand. And anyway, so we showed him this whole thing. He got the whole overview of how this works, and he was really impressed. And at the end of the meeting, he said, okay, well, I'll tell you what, here's where we go from here. And it's funny, he actually brought that up. He said, okay, so he said something to the extent of, okay, so how do we start working together? Which is usually what I would say. So he said that, and I said, send us lots of people, and we'll do a great job on them, and you'll see that we make your job, we'll make your life a lot easier. And he said, okay, I'll tell you what. He said, our very next personal injury case that we get, we will send them over to your office and send us over the documentation. Let's communicate on it. We'll see how it goes. We'll try it out. And I said, great, let's do it. So he's doing that. He's sending over their next person. And that is the type of response that we want. And then what we'll do is we'll do a stellar job. He'll see that. And then he'll probably send more and more people, I'm guessing. We'll nurture that relationship. And he's also a stand-up attorney. He's someone who is a litigator. He's not afraid to go to court. He's not afraid to fight for the patient. He understands what types of things are going to present well, not present well. And the thing that helps them the most is great documentation. And if the person does have objective findings, that the objective and the subjective have to match up. So when I was showing him what we do, not just with flexion extension x-rays and spinal ligament injury testing like we do through Smart Injury Doctors and Spinal Kinetics, but also showing him that we do this functional movement assessment. We do this full evaluation where we're measuring range of motion, functional patterns, whether the pattern or that movement was painful or non-painful, and that's done initially, and then it's repeated typically every 12 visits. He thought that was really fantastic as well, because that's another great objective measure that is repeated throughout the course of the patient's care. So now let's just backtrack a second, because I'm assuming that you're watching this or listening to this and you're saying, yes, I'd like to up my personal injury in my practice. Well, here's how we did this. We put together this series of videos, which I call the Attorney Interactive Videos. And those videos was pretty much step one, was getting those videos in front of a bunch of attorneys, getting them to watch them, pique their interest so that they see, oh, this is a chiropractor that actually is doing something different. They know what they're talking about, and looks like they could probably hold their own if they had to go into the courtroom. That was the first step, is I built the sequence of animated videos that explain what we're looking for in a attorney, which is not, a scumbag, dirty type of relationship where, send us people and we will cut our bill 50 to 70%. But no, instead this is the place that if you wanted to send your wife or your daughter or whomever for great care, you'd want to send them to us. So that was in the first video in this sequence that we had this attorney watch and many others watch. The second video then talks about spinal ligament testing, how we look for spinal ligament injuries, how if the person has a problem, that is an objective finding that is established by the AMA guidelines, whether it's 5th edition or 6th edition, depending on what state you're in and whatnot. Okay. So then the third video talks about what does the third one talk about? Oh yeah, the third one talks about the five fatal flaws, or the 5 things that most doctors do that kill your client's insurance benefits. Now, those topics right there are ones that we got from Smart Injury Doctors. Dr. Kronk teaches this stuff, and I made animation videos. I wrote a script, and I mapped this thing out so it was really captivating. You could send it to them, you could send them a link, and they could watch this sequence of videos through this interactive process where they watch the video. After that video on that topic is over, a button pops up at the bottom of the page, whether it's on mobile or desktop. They hit the button, goes to the next page, another 4 or 5 minute video plays, and it takes them through this sequence. Then it goes through one about our unique approach. It highlights some of the things that we do different, and then the last one is what you can expect from us, and it's basically like a call to action, like how do we start working together. So that's this video series that we made, and then I have one of our staff, which is Caitlin. Caitlin goes and she gets that in front of all these attorneys. And so how does she do that? Well, there's a process, through phone call, through email, through LinkedIn Messenger. And they watch the video, then they meet up with me on a Zoom meeting to at least get that initial meeting to see if there's interest there. And 9 times out of 10 there is. And then after I meet with them on a Zoom meeting and I highlight some of the things that we do and I talk to them, get to know them, then we set them up where they come into the clinic for a tour, and we go through and we have lunch. We cater some food into the clinic and we eat. Right now I'm doing 3 of those lunches per week. I've done consistently 3 a week for the last several weeks. I had 3 this week. I just did my I've had 2 this week. My third's tomorrow, Friday. And then next week I have 3 scheduled. And so Kate has scheduled 3 out per week for the next several weeks after someone's gone through this process, after they're super well informed on what we do. It's kind of like a pre-screening process to make sure it's going to be a good fit, and it's someone that is going to be worth their time and our time for us to meet up in person to start a working relationship together. So this is working very, very well so far. Then from there, Kate then follows up with them, nurtures that contact, that relationship. So every couple weeks, send something over to them to remind them that we're still here. And rinse and repeat. That's something that we're going to do until we have a good, I don't know, I'm guessing probably the number, at first I was thinking 40 to 50 attorneys. Now I'm thinking maybe, good 30 attorneys. And then some will trickle in along the way, but then our attention is going to be focused on nurturing those relationships with the attorneys, and then of course doing excellent work when they refer someone over. And then the next piece that Kate and I are switching gears to is then doing a similar thing with medical providers and primary care medical clinics, kind of doc in the box places that don't really want to see personal injury cases, don't really know what to do with them. They usually just send them to the emergency room or to a physical therapist, and we're going to show them that we are the experts that they should be sending them to. Here's why. We'll get better results. We will actually uncover hidden ligament injuries because we know how, and we'll do excellent care so this person has a full recovery, or at least as close to a full recovery as humanly possible. So at the point that we reach out to the medical doctors, then we're going to be getting unattached cases coming in, meaning patients that come in that do not have an attorney. Now, I don't know where you stand on this, Doc, but where I stand on this is I think that someone is much better off being represented by a quality attorney that understands personal injury, because that person will just have more protection. They will get their healthcare/medical bills paid. They will get compensated for, vehicle damage, and they will get some sort of settlement for pain and suffering and future expenses. And if the attorney is a good attorney, they'll be able to get a lot more for the patient, for their client, than if the person tried to do it on their own and just work with the insurance adjuster, which always starts off like Mr. Nice Guy, and then they become Mr. Mean Guy once the person actually shows they have some sort of bill or something that needs to be paid. So when these people come in from the medical clinics, they will be unattached cases. They will need good representation. then we will be able to pick from our group of attorneys that we've built relationships with, and we start to get to know them, and then we can send our patients to attorneys that we actually know and have met and had conversations with, which is kind of cool, right? That is what we're doing. This is something that we've been doing now for, I don't know, maybe 7 weeks, I'm guessing. I think I've met with maybe 12 attorneys now in person, I think. And, it took a few weeks to get it going before we even got a meeting set up. It takes about 4 weeks to launch this thing before you actually get an in-person meeting. But it's a process of really educating, connecting, and developing a relationship that is intended to be a long and lasting relationship. This is not a one and done process. This is not a quick spinal screening, let's get a patient in. This is, how do you build a foundation that's going to support great referral relationship for years to come. So that whole process, we then duplicated that for other clinics. And the link I put below, which is PI, like personal injury, .movenowyou.com. So pi.movenowyou.com. You can actually watch a webinar that I did with Dr. Kronk, who founded Smart Injury Doctors, and we go through the whole process of how this works. We show you the attorney interactive videos that we built and designed, and that we can actually customize these for other clinics and other doctors. And then we mapped out all the training process. I mapped this out with Kate, which is our gal that does this 5 days a week. And she's got lots of experience doing it. And she even will reach out to whatever staff person you have that you want to turn over to start doing it. Once they've gone through the training, she'll chat with them on the phone, have a conversation, help set them at ease. We have support inside of Functional Movement for Chiropractors Facebook group, so you can post up in there, and myself and or Kate can respond and help out with your staff member who's handling that marketing process of using the attorney interactive videos and the physician interactive videos. That's the second piece of this program that is optional for doctors to dive into as well. So anyway, that's the process that we're doing. That's a big focus that I have dedicated a lot of time and energy into building, and it takes a lot less time and energy for you to be able to do this in your clinic, because you just follow the steps that we've mapped out and built and are showing to be working fantastic. So that's what I wanted to share with all of you. I hope you found this beneficial. Feel free to share this with other chiropractors if you'd like. Show them what we're doing as well. And if you have any questions on this, you can always reach out to me. You can message me through Facebook. You can email me at Dr. Todd at movenowyou.com. So Dr. Todd at movenowyou.com. And I can arrange to jump on a phone call and we can chat and I can answer questions for you. So we're very reachable. We can help you with this thing. It takes us usually about 48 hours or so once we receive your clinic logo and a professional picture of you, and a couple other things that we get filled out on a questionnaire so we know how to build the videos out for you, and then we customize them and we build these web pages for you. It's called a funnel, and you now have this customized funnel, and all you need is a link, and you send that link to the attorneys, and once they have that link, they can watch the whole sequence. So we've built this out for a bunch of other doctors around the country, and it's still a very, very early thing where there's hardly anyone doing this. So you could definitely dominate your area and build some great relationships with attorneys. I can guarantee you there's going to be no other chiropractor that's doing anything like this. So this is the first time this has been done, and guess what? It's working awesome. So hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon.